Hello, everyone. It's that time again. Time for another This is Commentary with Ozzy Rose. Hello, everyone. I'm Mr. Ozzy Rose. I hope everyone has had a great day today. As for me, I had a pretty good day. I got to go strutting, but I didn't get to go the full length today. I had some other things I had to do before I went strutting, so it is what it is. But anyways, the topic for this commentary segment is Man of My Word. That's right, man of my word. My late wife had told me many times that, like good wives do, she said, your morals get in your way. And I'd tell her each time, I'd say, you're right, they do. Sometimes they really do. I said, but watch it, you got some of them same morals. And when someone asks me, because, I strut here at Jonesboro, when they ask me what's my most favorite song, my most favorite song, believe it or not, is not a classic rock song. As they know me to listen to on the streets here. It's by my favorite country music singer of all time, Colin Ray. He had a hit song way back in the 90s off the Extremes album called Man of My Word. That song truly defines who and what I am. Even in my addiction to methamphetamine and 100 proof schnapps, I was a man of my word. I didn't lie, I didn't cheat, I didn't steal. I take great pride in that. Even in my addiction, I didn't do that. I'm ashamed of my addiction, don't get me wrong. Late in life at 52, But I was always a man of my word. And she's right. Sometimes my morals do get in my way. Do I expect others to be like me? No. I don't. But I'm like this. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean that in a good way, too. You could take it to the bank. I'm still that way to this day. I've been that way my whole life. That's how I was raised. I was raised, you don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal. Your word is your bond, And it always has been, and it always will be. I'll give you an example. Last night, a guy come on my live show in the live chat on YouTube, my first live show, which I was on for 3 hours and 4 minutes last night. But he said he was going to come and show me how to do this to where I could get him on as video audio guests. He told me he was going to meet me here at 2 o'clock. And I told him last night on the show, I said, well, if something comes up, give me a text. He didn't show up. He didn't give me a text. I do expect you to be a person of your word. When you say you're going to do something regarding me, I expect you to keep your word. If you don't keep your word, you're probably not going to like the reaction that I give you. Because I do expect people, when they tell me they're going to do something and I'm involved, I expect you to keep your fucking word. Or don't open your fucking mouth. And that's just the way I am on that. So I don't expect everybody to be like me. Don't get me wrong, I don't. To a T, no. But when you say you're going to do something regarding me, I expect you to keep your fucking word. Or don't open your mouth. It's that simple. My friend Scott, I let him know in a text, the guy didn't show up, but I knew he wasn't going to show up. My gift don't lie. I knew he was just running his mouth in the live chat last night. That's all he was doing. There's lots of people like him, men and women alike, that will run their mouth and not do what they say they're going to do. So, but when it involves me, I do expect you to keep your fucking word. No matter how little or how big the situation is, I expect you to come through. And if you're not going to come through, it's quite simple. Don't open your mouth, And that's just the way I am. I'm not going to promise something or say I'm going to do something. Let's put it like this. I'm not going to say I'm going to do something, don't do it. No matter if something comes up, no matter what that something is, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, no matter what, whether I like it or not. That's just me. Now, my good friend Charlie Rosen told me a while back, he goes, Ozzy, you can't expect everybody to be like you. I said, I know it, Charlie. I said, I don't. But I expect them to have a few things respectable about them, and I do. And that's one of them. But my wife was right. Sometimes I get aggravated with myself because I've been like this since I was 5 years old. And I have. I didn't tell lies, didn't cheat in life, didn't steal. I've helped any and all people that I could. And if I go without, it's just almost impossible for me to ask for help. I have a few times with my friend Major. He's been really about the only one. I still would rather go without because that's how I was raised, I was raised with good morals. That I was, and my morals do get in my way, and I understand that, and they do. Like I said, sometimes I get aggravated with myself because it's not that I'm just an old man set in my ways. I've been like this since I was 5. I'm too much of a stickler, I think, regarding myself. Not other people, don't get me wrong, but myself. I'm too honest for one thing, and I guess that is a problem in a way. I guess you can be too much of anything, So I guess I could be too much of a man of my word. Sometimes I thought, would it hurt me to tell a lie? Would it hurt me to cheat it a little bit? Not steal, but cheat it a little bit. And I would think sometimes, no, it don't hurt to tell. It wouldn't hurt you to have told one lie in life. It wouldn't have hurted you to cheat a little bit in life. But it would have went against my raising, and I would have sold out. And when I think about it. So for that reason, that's why I won't. And like I told my good friend Charlie, I said, when a person starts telling lies, though, lies have a funny way of catching up to them. Then when people learn that you say one lie, they ain't going to believe a damn thing you say. I learned from the best about not telling lies. And let me tell you who the 2 best people I learned from. That was my mother and my sister. I learned how, no matter what, they ain't no fucking way I'm telling a lie, because I learned from the best, the 2 best liars in the world. And I told them this when they were alive, because it was the truth. My mother didn't start lying, though. I will say this. She didn't start telling lies till she got in her addiction to pills. Then she would talk about my sister. My sister had an addiction to meth. She said, well, your sister just lies all the time. I said, well, what in the hell do you think you do? And she thought her addiction was superior to my sister's. I would tell her, I said, addiction's addiction. Back then, I didn't have addiction issues. I said, the way you are with pills, I said, just because she's using meth don't make yours superior to hers, but she thought so, So, because addiction's addiction, whether you're just an addict to alcohol, or if you're an addict to drugs, or both. And I was an addict to both. At 52, that's when I become an addict. But I was always, even through that, I was a man of my word. There was times in my addiction, show you how I wouldn't ask for help. I would go eat out of the dumpsters when I had my apartment in Truman. I'd go eat out of dumpsters. But I didn't ask nobody for nothing. Not that, don't get me wrong, not that I didn't think like this. I didn't think, well, I'm not going to give them the time of day to, or whatever. I wasn't like that. It's just how I was raised. Because I was paying my rent, yeah. But all my other money was going to the dope man and to the liquor store. And so when I did get hungry, I would just go eat out of the dumpsters. I wasn't going to ask nobody for nothing. I didn't want to bother nobody. That's the way I've been my whole life. I don't like to bother nobody, because everybody is having a tough time right now with this high inflation in the country. But that song by Colin Ray always stuck with me. It always will. I would sell out. That's why I still, even though none of them are alive, that's why I still won't tell a lie. That's why I still will not cheat. Because would it hurt me now that none of them's alive? Yeah, it would still hurt me because, like I said, it'd be like I'm selling out. And I'm not going to sell out, no matter what. No matter how bad things got for me in life. I didn't lie, cheat, and steal. I'd go eat out of the dumpsters, like I said, in Truman. There was times at NEA Hospital I ate out of the trash cans, but because I didn't want to bother nobody. I didn't want to ask for it. And the way I looked at it is, I'm blowing all of my money to the dope man in the liquor store. That's what I deserve. I deserve to eat out of the trash can. I deserve to eat out of the dumpsters, and that's what I did, So, yes, my wife was right. But in that song, he talks about, would it hurt me to tell a lie? No, it wouldn't have hurt me, I guess. In the long run, I guess it would have. I probably would have ended up like my mother and sister. If I started telling one lie, that's all I would do would lie. And I didn't want to be like that. So, that's going to be about a wrap for this commentary segment. And, of course, the topic is man of my word. And sometimes I'm just too much of a man of my word. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes. But anyways, God bless you all. So long for now.